Hi everyone, welcome back to the Magical Man Cave. In today's video I'm going to be talking about a project that I haven't actually started fully yet. I've explored it for the last several years and I really wanted to get going on it in 2024. And so I've done more research recently to see whether there's an easier way of doing this. Now let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. Now I've been to the Rainforest Cafe in Florida recently, and what I noticed was that around every 15 minutes, I mean, it's not like you can kind of miss it, they have a rainstorm where all the lights start dimming, it gets quite gloomy, and then suddenly you hear cracks of thunder and strobe lights go off, these blue lights go off on the walls and across the ceilings and all of that sort of stuff. It's really quite a cool effect. It sounds like it's raining, it starts to thunder and lightning, and the lightning goes off, and it's awesome. But I wondered how I was going to make that happen. So I started by buying 4 strobe lights, which I think was a little bit previous of me. I probably shouldn't have done that. But I thought maybe I could trigger these strobe lights using some sort of relay together with a Raspberry Pi. Now, if you don't know what a Raspberry Pi is, it doesn't look like one of these, it looks like one of these. So a Raspberry Pi is basically a small computer that can handle this sort of computation. It's not a particularly difficult or hard computation, but what it would do is to analyze the wave signature of the sound, the noise of the thunderstorm, and it would work out where the peaks are, and at the peak it would start triggering the strobe effect, which I thought would be really neat. But there were some problems with it because the strobe lights default to a red rather than a blue, so I'd need to override that, and that requires electronics and clever stuff that I can't think through. And then it would also need to link in, bypassing some of the controls of the strobe light, and it would also need another power supply and all of that sort of clever stuff. Now, in theory, this Raspberry Pi that my friend made me does work. He's tested it and apparently it does work. But I think that there's probably an easier way to do it. And also, Raspberry Pis now are quite expensive, so maybe I could repurpose the one he's given me in order to do something else. So I'm planning on doing that. And what I want to do is to make a house elf that will connect to ChatGPT so that I can ask it questions and it can interact with me. And maybe I can even mount it behind my elf door over here so that I can talk to the elf through the door. Now, I do know how to do that. I'm just going to need to do some clever stuff. So what I want to do, I am going to be doing all of this sort of stuff, and I'm not going to be doing the whole thing on this video, so please don't get too excited. This isn't going to be a how to do all of this sort of stuff. These are upcoming projects that I'm going to be doing. So what I want to do for the house elf project, I want to take a voice, like my voice, I want to turn that into text. I then want to use that text to query ChatGPT and tell it to act like a house elf, to respond as if it is a house elf. Then that text that comes back from ChatGPT, I'll then put through a text to speech. Then I'm going to take the audio file and change it slightly so that it can be a house elf and it can sound like it's behind a door, and then I'll mount the speaker behind the door. That's the theory, and that's kind of what I'm hoping to do. So let me know if you think that's a good idea down in the comments. In terms of the other thing that I want to do, the thunder and lightning effect, I'm going to get some blue LEDs that I'm going to stick into the roof and have shining down from the ceiling. I'm going to conceal them somehow because I don't really want the light to come directly from the LEDs. I want them to be somehow concealed, and I'm not really sure how I'm going to do that yet, but if you've got any ideas, please let me know down in the comments. And the way that that's all going to work is it's going to use an off-the-shelf product that will listen to an audio file, pick out the peaks of it, and then start firing off the lights. So I do need to do a bit of wiring up in the loft of the man cave, and before I do any of that, I need to get the loft hatch sorted because the loft hatch currently looks like this. So it is all a bit of a mess, and I am definitely going to get there, but those are 2 projects that are in the works at the moment. Now, if you have any doubts whether or not I'm going to do this, by the way, here is my moving portrait, which I did make from scratch, and also I've done other things on this channel, so hopefully you will have faith that I am going to be doing this sort of thing. I know it sounds utterly bonkers, and I know it sounds like quite a large undertaking, but it's the sort of thing I have done on this channel before, and I'm convinced that I can make it work. So please do follow along. Click like if you like this video, subscribe, ding that bell, all of that sort of good stuff really helps out this channel. I'll be back next time with some more magical awesomeness. I know it's a very short video, but until next time, as always,
Stay magical.